Hello, YouTube. Jay Mason here. I am coming to you live from Vancouver, and I am joined here with my mother, Carol. And together we are Jay and Carol. We run an online business helping other people live their best life and create their own wealth online. Every Tuesday, we come on here live to talk to you guys and have a special guest. Today, we have a special guest, Rachel. Rachel, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay and Carol, for having me. My name is Rachel, as Jay said, and I am from Vancouver, BC in Canada. And I have been in this online business now for about 4 years. So it has been an incredible journey. And I get to meet amazing people like Jay and Carol in our community. So we get to work online. We get to have the freedom and flexibility to make our own schedule and run our business globally. And before this, I did real estate. So I was doing that for about 8 years, helping people buy and sell properties. And I loved my clients. I had some amazing experiences and learning opportunities in that career, but I wanted something that would allow me to be more free and be able to travel more and have the freedom and flexibility not to have to work in the evenings and on the weekends. So this was just a perfect fit for my lifestyle. So we're here today.
Excellent.
Yay.
So let's dive right into today's topic. So today's topic is implementing helpful habits. So I know we always talk about healthy and lit lifestyle and like that. Today we're going to talk about helpful habits that are going to help run your business and make things move smoothly. I know for me, when I think about helpful habits, what kind of things do I do on a regular basis that really does affect my business? My big one, first thing in the morning, is I roll over, I lift up my cell phone, and I start scrolling through all my messages. And I make it a point to check the messages that I can answer questions for first, before I start scrolling on TikTok and everything like that. I want to be productive first thing in the morning, answering those questions. And there's always somebody asking something. Those are kind of like my first thing in the morning habit. I know Mom has some great habits that she does every day. And some of them are very helpful in running an online business. So Mom, why don't you talk about that?
Well, I'm happy to do that. I'm Carol, and I'm from Victoria, BC. Jay lives in Vancouver, so we're across the water from each other. And the first thing that I do in the morning is, of course, make my cup of coffee. But the first habit that I have is I do morning pages. And if anyone doesn't know what a morning page is, morning pages is a practice that was created by the author Julia Cameron, I believe. Yes, Julia Cameron. She wrote the book, The Artist's Way. And she talks about writing 3 longhand pages, stream of consciousness writing. So it doesn't have to make sense. You just write anything that's in your head first thing in the morning. It's like verbal diarrhea on paper. And I'll tell you, that habit has helped me. I can't even explain the transformation that happened in a short period of time. It's a big, long story, to tell you the truth. But that is a habit that I've maintained over the last 10 or 12 years. I started in 2007, so you do the math. I don't know what the math is. I haven't given that any thought for a long time. And I just don't think I could go through my day anymore if I don't do my morning pages.
The one thing that I know about your morning pages is it has inspired so many things in this online business. Like whenever we're struggling to think of something, your morning pages, your thoughts, your brain dump that you do in your morning pages, brings up the topic for the day, or brings up what we're going to be talking about, or what we're going to be posting on our social media. It's always been, it's where a lot of it comes from.
That's true. Yeah.
Rachel, Rachel, what are some of the helpful habits that you do on a regular basis? Because we're always looking to add more to our schedule too.
Of course. Yeah, no, I love your guys' habits. I think journaling has been a great thing for me too, kind of similar to Paige's, and gratitude, listing a few things that I'm grateful for and why. There's a few different books that you can buy that have those exercises kind of written out for you. And there's a little quote at the top. And I love those things, like the 5-minute journal. And then one thing that I really love that's really important for me is daily exercise. So some form of, moving your body, going for a walk, whether it's yoga or stretching. It's pouring rain today, so stretching inside, doing some push-ups, some sit-ups, just anything to get your blood flowing, because I know that impacts my energy level, how I feel, my mood, just how much I get accomplished in the day. And it's been such a huge thing for me for, I would say, at least the last 10 years now. And I really feel it. If I don't work out for, a couple of days in a row, then I get tired in the afternoon. I want to have more coffee. And usually I only have one coffee in the morning in the beginning of the day. But I notice that I'm not as happy, and even my skin, it looks so much better when I sweat, and so that just, it's a huge helpful habit for me. And in my business, it makes a big difference.
That is really important.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of exercise, that's a helpful habit. That's a healthy habit that we implemented in January. So as a lot of our viewers know, I've been on a health journey here, and Mom and I have both been on a really big one over the summer. But back in January, we started a different series that I'm still doing about
creating healthy
habits. And one of mine was to make sure I was doing 10,000 steps every day. So a year ago, I guess it was December last year, I was talking to my doctor, and he asked me how many steps that I normally take. And I didn't know, because I don't wear a pedometer. I just assume that I get lots because I work on my feet at my day job. So I checked on my iPhone, and I only make about 6,000 to 6,500 steps a day, which wasn't very much. So I vowed that this year I'm going to do 10,000 steps, and I've made it an actual habit to get outside and do a walk every single day. So I've only missed a couple of days. I can't say I've not missed a day, but it's become a habit. And when I can't get out for my walk, it feels weird, and just getting that exercise, it helps clear your mind. You can listen to a podcast. You can do those kinds of things that you wouldn't do when you're sitting at home, because when you're sitting at home, I'm always on social media.
That's true. Yeah. The fresh air, there's so many, I mean, personally, sorry, I might need to get some water. Personally, I love getting out into nature and getting the fresh air. And it's also such a different side of that. And I mean, depending on where you are, that might be accessible for you. That might not be as accessible for you. But I feel like there's always somewhere we can go, a beautiful lake, a little boardwalk or something, especially obviously on a nice day. It's a really lovely thing to do. But yeah.
And especially living here in Vancouver or the BC coast, that's for
exactly.
Sure.
There is a lot of beautiful things to see.
Exactly. Another thing that came to mind while we were chatting here that I wasn't thinking about earlier, a helpful habit for me, it's helpful in a way, but it can also be a detriment. But I look at it in positive light and think of it as a helpful habit, is I've always been the person to say yes. So anytime somebody asks me something or asks me to do something, 90% of the time I'm a yes. I'll say yes. That being said, I know and notice when people start to walk over you and have they expect it without giving anything in return. So it's that fine balance that you have to really tune in. Yes, be a yes person. Always say yes, to make sure that you're getting the best out of your day. You're getting the best out of life. But you also have to be able to say no too. You have to be able to say, you know what, I've given my all, but there's always a little bit that you need to give back, right? You don't need to give back 100%, but give back at least a little bit to make it feel like it's a little bit fair, so that I'm not getting exhausted by saying yes every day.
Yeah, I think that brings to mind like the word balance, because, every area of my life, this has come up where it needs to be a balance. It's like moderation in all things, or balance, or,
Yeah.
the reciprocity when it comes to those kind of things. I totally agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what came to mind for me when you guys were talking about exercise in nature in particular, is that gives me an opportunity to be present and practice presence. Because if you don't practice presence, it doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come automatically. Automatic is what's in our head, and all of the things we have to do. In particular, when you're running a business, because running a business creates that to-do list, and in order to be more efficient, I need to practice presence throughout the day. And those are moments that I can practice that. And I use, like, I'm going to talk a little bit about presence right now because it is hugely important to me. Because when I started Morning Pages in 2007, I was at my lowest. And I had realized, and through the Morning Pages, I realized I'd been living in my head all my life. I had no idea how to be present. So I used the Morning Pages to practice presence. And now I practice presence throughout the day, doing menial tasks, which is every opportunity to be present. Anytime I don't have to think about problem solving, or I don't have to make a decision, like when I'm showering, when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm eating, when I'm preparing food for a meal, I do it with presence. I hate using that word 150 times,
Intention.
Or just being mindful. Yeah.
being mindful. I like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my helpful habits, because it gets me out of my head, so that when I need to use my mind for decision making or problem solving, it's a lot more efficient
And clear.
and clear. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Get rid of the clutter.
Yeah.
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 I
This was
agree.
amazing. I love this topic and I love chatting. So I wanted to thank you, Rachel, for joining us. Thanks, Mum, for joining me here as well. We do this every Tuesday. So anybody out there who's watching and who loves our stuff and loves to hear from us, and you want to be reminded, click the like button, ring the bell so that you get the notifications. We would love that, and we'll boost our algorithm so it reaches out to more people and more people can learn. If you yourself are looking for a change and you want to make a difference in your own life, start here. There's a simple webinar you can watch. It's 90 minutes. It's free to watch. That's where all of us started. We watched this free webinar. We learned about how to work in the online space and what it involves. And that's it. Then you can move forward from there. If you want to do that, click the link in the description and we will send you to a website where you can register for your free spot. If anybody has any closing remarks, I would love to hear. And otherwise, I will say thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was lovely to chat with you.
It's my pleasure.
Beautiful.
Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody, and we will talk to you guys next Tuesday.